You're listening to the Training Talk podcast with Wattsie and DK. Dive into strength basics and elite endurance secrets. Whether you're just getting started or you're a seasoned athlete, this is the show for you. Join us each episode as we explore everything from training to wellness, nutrition, and much more. Let's get started. G'day guys, welcome back to the Training Talk podcast for episode 3 with your hosts Wattsie and DK. Now, we've already been in the studio, so we're already quite active, up and about at the moment. But today's topic is going to be talking about routine, how important it is, what it affects, how we do things around, outside of working out, how important routine is through working out, and so it's just like pretty much how it benefits us, and that's where I'm going to kick it straight off to you, DK. When you talk about routine, what does routine mean to you?
Yeah, well, the first thing I wanted to talk about was like just developing like a good sleep pattern, and I think that starts with exercise and getting up at the same time each morning, ideally. I would tend to sleep in a little bit on a Sunday, but like for me, a sleep in's like 6. So, I just think having that routine helps you like just so much with having the energy and motivation for exercise. Like I think I mentioned in the last episode, like with the Olympics on, I've been having some sleep issues. Yeah. And it's really kind of like it's even made me more emotional, I think, just because I'm not like fresh. And so just having a good routine. I'll talk about what exactly like my routine is. So like for me, I will start the day with time of prayer. So I'll wake up. I usually vary it winter and summer. So summer 4:30. I like to get up. And you just got so much more daylight to play with, and you want to be. I always want to be exercising at first light. Yep. That's not always practical, especially in winter. It's not practical to be exercising at first light because usually you got to be leaving for work or other activities by first light in winter. But I get up. So at the moment it's 4:45. Get up, pray for 45 minutes. Then I go into a core routine, which I'm just doing 4 exercises. It's not all core either. So I'm doing Bulgarian split-legged squats.
The best.
No weights. So I do do a rep of then like 10 of those. I actually do the first one supported because like this is like the first thing I've done for the day other than kind of walk to my comfy chair and maybe go to the toilet. And so I do a set of Bulgarians, and then I go onto the floor and do 20 sit-ups. I've actually started doing like back bridges, which I read's good for anterior pelvic tilt, which I've had a problem with for quite a few years. So just saw that on Facebook, thought I'll give them a go as well. So I've thrown them in, do 10 of those. Then I go to the stairs and I do some heel raises with a bent leg to integrate the soleus muscle. Yeah, because that's the one I tore 3 times last year.
That could be talking to stability issues there. The soleus.
I think it's probably just having a history of a lot of running. You can very easily get carried away when. Yeah, basically the mind is. Yeah. The mind's a Ferrari and the chassis is deteriorated into an old bunkie.
Or a Datsun 120Y or something.
Yeah. And then from the stairs, so I do 15 each leg, so single-legged. And then go and get into a plank. I actually don't even time my planks. I just go on Strava until like I've had enough.
Yeah, right.
So I just check out what's happening on Strava. So sometimes I've actually kind of timed them to see like what I'm doing. Sometimes I'd probably do as little as 45 seconds, and sometimes pushes out to more like 2 minutes if I'm like writing somebody a message on Strava.
Yeah, okay. And you're generally shaken up and everything after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to train with a guy when I did my personal training. He could do a bridge I think, for about 8 or 9 minutes.
Yeah, I've the world record's somewhere in the hours, like 7 hours or something.
He was reading a book while he was doing it.
Yeah, I read about a lady who basically did a degree bridging.
Unreal.
Yeah, she would do all her study in the plank position.
Wow.
Yeah, and so that's my 4 things, and depending on how much time and energy I've got, I'll run through them 1, 2, or 3 times. And I try and do that 6 days a week. Yeah, so that's what my morning pattern looks like. What about yourself? What's your routine?
Well, my routine is just like my star sign, I'm a Gemini. So 2 different lives type thing. So I work fly in, fly out. I actually work a pretty good roster, so I work 8 a week on, week off, so 8, 6, 7, 7. And so my routine is different at site as it is at home. Now, to all of you guys listening, this is going to sound crazy, but whenever I'm on site, I'm normally up at about, say, quarter to 2 in the morning.
Yeah,
so
that is crazy.
It is, and it's
that's about when I woke up this morning, but I went back to bed for an hour after the 10,000.
Yeah, and I've got to get up. Like, I've got to be in bed pretty much by 7:30, 7:45 at later. So hopefully I can squeeze in 5 to 6, or probably 6 hours is my target. Now, the good thing is about working week on, week off is you're not doing it for 2 weeks at a time. You're doing it for 1 week. And so that's why I train only 4 days a week while I'm on site.
Yep.
But when I come home, I'm training 6 or 7 sessions, do a couple of double ups because I'm sleeping 8 hours. But while I'm on site, I'm in bed by 7:45 and I get up at, say, 1:45, 2 o'clock, depending what I'm doing that day. Like, at the moment, my strength sessions are an hour and 15 minutes and I'm trying to work to get them down, finding out what I need to, the least I need to do. Like, if I'm obviously doing squats, benches and deadlifts, I'm going to do those movements. And then I'm going to do my second priority movements, which would be overhead press and then bar or pen lay row. And then I'll do some exercise correctional activity. So like with my foot. But I'll still do that regardless. But I'll do other exercises that aid and supplement the main lifts. So I'll try and do maximum 60 to 75 minutes, but hopefully 60 minutes. So I get in there, I wake up, I prepare for my training session. I put a bit of motivational music on, like Jocko Willink, Joe Rogan and all these things. It helps get my mind start ticking over. Yep. So by the time I get into the gym, I'm already in that gym mindset. I'm ready to go. I've given myself 20 minutes to get through my warm-ups, and then it's off to the session. Now, when I leave, I want to leave the gym by about, say, 20 to 30, 3:30. And so I get back to my room, have a shower, my protein drink, whatever I need to do, supplements, whatever, have a shower, and I'm out of the door by, say, 5 minutes to 4, because the dining room opens at 4 o'clock. So if I work to that time, so while I'm on site, if I work to that time, I'm generally pretty good. So I'm awake, say, from 1:45, 2 o'clock at some cases, sometimes less because I'll do some bike work. And then I've got to back it up. The bus leaves camp at 5, and pretty much back at camp after a 12-hour day at about, say, 20 past, 6:30. And then I pretty much scoff my dinner. I'm out of the camp out of the dining room by 6:45. Back in my room by, say, 6:55, because at the moment, where my room is, because the site that I'm at, the construction is still occurring. Yeah. Okay. So I live really close. I probably live the closest out of all my crewmates to the dining room. So I've got a bit of a blessing there. But once it's all constructed, I'm gonna have a little bit more of a walk. So that's going to change things slightly. So that's pretty much my routine at work. But my routine at home follows roughly the same sort of thing. Now, when I'm at home, my partner wakes up. We wake up quite early, probably about, say, 5:15, 5:30. Feed the dog, Snuffleupagus. His name's Alfie, little French bulldog. He's always screaming at us to feed him. My partner, she does her exercises, and I start preparing for mine. And I'm normally in the gym by about 6 o'clock. And I'm normally wanting to be out of the gym by 8 o'clock. And so then I'll go about my day, and when I do double sessions, I try and be back in the gym by about 1:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. to get my session done. So by the time my partner does come back from work, we can spend that time together. So although that I'm still working to a relatively strict routine, I've got a lot more freedom in my routine. But so when I'm at home, I still get 8 hours sleep, which is great. So that allows me to do those double sessions. So while I'm on site, I'm training 4 to 5 days while I'm on site. While I'm at home, I get about 6 to 7 training sessions in, and depending how I feel will dictate what sort of volume I do. Like over the last 6 weeks, I've been doing, say, about 2,000 odd kilos of volume over my main lift, so about 15, 16 reps at about 80% of my 1 rep max. And because I've peaked at the moment, so I think I spoke about this earlier, but that's when things have got to change, and that's where the routine inside the gym will need to change as well. So sleep is critical, especially while I'm on site. But going into that next point, the morning exercise just makes the body and the mind feel better. Of course it does. It absolutely does for me. Again, like 10 years ago, I had a different opinion. I couldn't go to the gym if I wasn't training for something, but now it's to train for those exact reasons. Now, if I get into the gym slightly too late, it pushes the rest of my day out, and I feel like crap for it.
Yeah.
And then if you leave the gym at say 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, you've wasted 3/4 of the morning already. It's like, oh no, then I've got to do other bits and pieces. I've got to go down to the shops. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. Got to go to appointments and all that sort of thing. But yeah, I think pressing snooze, especially while I'm on site, is quite difficult. So yeah, that's pretty much my routine. It is very important. There's not much to it, but I try and work things around so I can actually achieve what I want to achieve.
Yeah, like what you're saying. First of all, like your schedule on the mines, like that's pretty hardcore. Like getting up at 1:45, like blows my mind a little bit. But it's great that you can do that. I was wondering, like, so you can actually do 2 weight sessions a day. I've not heard of people doing that. Will you do different muscle groups or?
So I've got 3 training sessions, 3 strength a week. But my second session is generally like a zone 2.
Oh, it's a cardio. Yeah.
Just to try and relax myself a little bit. No way will I do 2 strength unless I'm doing like a high rocks preparation or a CrossFit or anything.
Yeah, okay.
I'd never do that.
Yeah, because like with myself, like I love to do something in the morning, and then if I've got time, like I like to get on the bike, especially at this time of year. I like to get on the bike when it's warmed up a little bit and the sun's out, and I actually I started a very physical job beginning of 2022. Working with a farm contractor doing fencing, and my running kind of dropped way back then. I was still having injury troubles as well, so it was part of the issue. But like I was like, well, I'm still kind of exercising because I'm like throwing a sledgehammer around, chainsaw around, it's a very physical job, like lifting up 30 kilo rails and posts. And I thought, maybe I don't really need to worry about the running too much anymore. But I just discovered just running in the morning, it just puts you in such a better positive frame of mind.
Absolutely.
Your body feels better, your mind feels better, and the dog's happier.
Yep.
And I find that that's just an important part of the routine for me. So for me, like I go from that little core workout, and then just generally head out for a run. So at the moment it's in the dark usually, put the headlamp on, take the dog.
When you breathe, you got all the smoke come in front of your eyes, can't see what you're doing.
I haven't had that problem. I have had the frosty breath. I was like, oh, if that's happening, I know it's a cold morning. I find that little core workout I do is really good because it warms my body up as well. So at this time of year, I can pretty much just step out of the house in shorts and t-shirts still because I've warmed myself up.
Yeah.
Like I find the Bulgarians particularly, like I do my workout. I'll start in like full trackies and beanie.
Yeah.
Probably socks as well. And then by the time I've finished, depending on how warm it is, I might be down to like shorts and t-shirt, or I just just strip off whatever I need and then like go out running, but like my body's warm and raring to go. So, for me, like even as like running has become like less of a focus, I've found that just getting out, for physical and mental well-being, like it's just a great way to start the day.
Yeah, no, 100% agree with you there.
So what about you, mate? What else did you want to talk about your routine?
So I think I'm just reading some notes here. The best stress relief is pretty much my second one as well, because, you know, as we go through life, you know, we have different things thrown at one another. We have different things thrown at each other, thrown at ourselves through life. You know, they present different situations and whatnot. And so what I do I essentially train for stress relief, and this is why it's so important. It's why it's a part of my routine. But the best exercise I find, like, because if I strength train, it gives me a different sort of stimulus. It gives me a different energy feedback, as opposed that if I was to, you know, not do strength in the first thing and I do, like, say, on the bike. Like, yes, I did deadlifts, and there's a certain feeling that you feel when you're lifting heavy weight, and then, you know, you get a certain feeling there, and if you feel good, you feel great for both of them. But when you train cardio, when you do cardio first off, you actually have like a different feeling, and I enjoy that one as well. So, but if you were to say to me, what exercise is best for stress relief, I'd probably lean towards running, because when I was younger, I'd run to meditate.
Yep.
Like I'd run just to relax. I'd put my music on and I'll just let my body do its thing, and off I go. And, you know, I could run as, you know, I remember one day I was running down, I think it was Seascapes.
Yeah.
And I went for a run, and it was a cold day, nice, and, you know, it was a rainy day, and I had a stressful day at work at that point. I just went for a 5K, and I felt so good for it. But I wouldn't do any squats, benches, or deadlifts or anything else like that to relieve stress at the time. So, like, later on it will, throughout the day it will, but for the immediate stress relief, I'll go for a run. I'll get on a bike and go for a pedal or something like that. Cardiovascular activity, ideally for me, is the best stress reliever. But yeah, I think my routine is quite basic, but it's highly effective. And, you know, when I implement it, it makes me feel much, much better of a person, and I don't get as grumpy. My partner's happy, my dog's happy. But yeah, I think, that's pretty much it, I would say. And about 13 more times, but yeah, that's it.
I think, like what you're saying with running after a stressful day at work, like I really enjoy that as well. I think the danger, like for me, like one of the reasons why I like the morning routine, like I think if you kind of wake up and you just press snooze and kind of go back to sleep, not only will you feel guilty, but like it's harder to like squeeze the session in at another time of day. Like if you can get it in the morning, it's done. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to hope that you can make time in the evening when, like, you know, other family members are around, or things might come up, or you're tired from work or whatever. So I find like having that morning routine is great, but I also really enjoy running in the evenings. I know that I'll run faster in the evenings. So
yeah, I wonder why that is. Because I do as well. When my first run after my news, I ran so well that afternoon. So I wonder why that is.
I actually, because I started running in year 7, like I said, I would run 8K in the morning.
No 12-year-old's going to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go for a run.
I used to get up at 5:17.
Jesus.
And I'd probably be out the door in 10 minutes, which is kind of, I would never do that now. But like literally I'd like kind of get changed, go to the toilet, do some stretches outside, which was ridiculous. I should have stretched inside.
Yeah.
And then I'd start running. But I would be so slow. Like I would be like, in the mornings were like slower than 6-minute Ks, and then in the afternoons I would do another 8K and I'd run as quick as 5-minute Ks.
And you're finding that now?
Now it's usually the first K is really slow in the mornings, and then in the afternoons, first K is not as slow, but still like generally the slowest. But yeah, I'd probably be 15 seconds a K quicker in the afternoons, whereas back when I was in year 7, it was probably as much as a minute a K. But I mean, I was doing a lot of Ks, especially for like a 11-year-old kid. Like I think my biggest week ever was, I think, 90. I did 11 8K runs. I was spewing because I had to go to a friend's place after school one afternoon. My mum was late picking me up. She didn't pick me up until after dark. And
priorities.
So I was like, yeah, I only got 1 8K in that day. So I never got my full kind of 12 8Ks that were on the schedule. And the reason I got the extra 2 to get it up to 90 was I had a couple of races with my sister in gumboots on the Saturday.
Wow.
In the middle of the day. So, yeah, I think she won. She was not in gumboots. I was in gumboots because it was kind of Cliff Young times. And
get those Ks either way.
Yeah, so we had a couple of races. I think she won one and I won the other one.
Yeah.
But yeah, like yeah, I love my afternoons, but it's great to have that session ticked off and done. I used to, when I first started training, I'd actually train in the mornings in summer and the weather's pleasant.
Yeah.
And then in the winter I'd switch to the arbos when
and that's the question I wanted to ask.
More pleasant again.
Yeah, and that's what I want to ask, because I've been playing around with that idea for a long time, training in the afternoons. And I needed to do that for that race, and that probably that helped ill preparation. But when you train in the afternoon, how do you sleep that night? Like, how do you respond? How does your body respond? How do you recover, like, for sleep that night? Because that's what I'm scared about. Like, I don't want to go out for a 10, 20K run, absolutely, load up my body big time, and next thing my body doesn't want to go to bed. Like, I'm curious.
There's actually a real issue. What day was it? Tuesday. I went surfing after work, so I had a hard day working, like throwing a sledgehammer around and chainsaw, building a post and rail fence.
Yeah.
But then the surf was really good. And I was kind of spewing most of the day that I couldn't go surfing, and it was about just before knockoff, I kind of like noticed, hey, the wind's not really picked up. I thought the wind was going to pick up today. And so I checked the weather, and I was like, I think I would go out for a quick session after work. So I kind of raced home, didn't even go upstairs, kind of yelled out to my wife. Threw my wetsuit on, ran to the beach quite fast.
Bye.
And did 45 minutes of just pulling into big closeouts and getting smashed by massive waves. And
lovely.
I really, really struggled sleeping that night. It's kind of messed up the rest of the week. I just had way too much adrenaline. And it was kind of weird because by the end of I was only out 45 minutes and then it got dark. But by the end of the session, I ran to the beach, but I walked home very slowly because I was knackered. And had it work day was pretty tough as well.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, still the adrenaline was just rushing through my body. I kind of went to bed and I was like, yeah, this isn't working. Got up, stayed up for another hour and a half. Just praying and kind of went through a few things because I'd caught up on some social media stuff because I hadn't had a chance to look at it all day.
Yeah.
And then I was like, and then I woke up again in the middle of the night. So yeah, it's definitely a potential problem. But if you go a little bit earlier, I'll probably I never used to have problems with it, but I don't know if it's a age thing. I think a lot of my sleep problems this week have been not eating enough. Work's been chewing through the calories, and I probably haven't adjusted the diet to make up for that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So it looks like at the moment I'm making the best decision to train in the morning so far. Which is
I think definitely mornings are preferable, but it is a good time of year to train in the afternoon.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, let's say if I did want to go for a run or a ride, probably about like say 1:30, 2 o'clock will probably be the latest you'd want to.
I don't like. I think as long as like I finished kind of on dark and it was like really high intensity. But I think if it's lower intensity and you're finishing before dark, like you just, as long as you have like a good chance to kind of chill down before you try and sleep, like a good couple of hours or so.
Definitely not going to get that on site if I tried that.
Yeah. No, I think on site would potentially really muck stuff up if you sounds like you got a really good routine because after you finish dinner, you've got like an hour to like, just decompress from the day. Like, you could easily kind of, spend another half hour over dinner and chat to people and then get back to your room and then kind of feel like you're rushing to get to bed. But as soon as you do that, I feel like it's hard to sleep well.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about your routine?
No, the routine, as I said, mine's quite simple, quite basic. But I think once I start training a bit more seriously, or considering more seriously the cycling side of things, routine's going to have to change again, as well. But when I look at it, and I look at my particular routine right now, our fly days to work on Mondays. So my Saturdays are generally my last training day for the week. And I'll have Sunday off. So I booked that day off in my Training Peaks because that's the system I use. I use Training Peaks and I use Strava, but I use Garmin Connect to create my training programs and launch it up to my watch. And so I'll have 2 days where I'm not training. So if I get to site, like when I go back to work this time around, as of this recording, I'm going back to a day shift. So hopefully everything works out well and seamlessly that I'm asleep by 7:45 and I'm up at that time on Tuesday mornings. But I hear the flights are going to be changing soon. So it's like when my flights do change, I'll be able to train on the Monday because I'm not flying. I'll just have a rest day on a Tuesday. So my routine's going to change a little bit, but I guess when you look at your routine, you've got to look at it from a big picture first off. Like, for example, I train about, say, 20 to 21 times over a month.
Yeah.
And then break it down over a fortnight. Like, let's say what you can do a day or what you can do on site, what you do on R&R. And then I'll break it down even further. I look at, like, times. And then, like, I look at, like, what I'm going to do for that session. Like, I might do a week at work, I might do a lower volume, lower intensity sort of workout to help me recover because the weeks at work are quite more demanding. But when I'm at home, I'll raise the intensity, I'll raise the volume up a little bit because I can cope with it more because I've got 8 hours sleep. So break it down from bigger picture to the week picture to the session picture and then to the individual set picture, because when you go into the gym, and you probably understand as well, when you go into the gym or when you're on the track and you're going for your runs, you've got to listen to your body and go by how you feel. And so, like, let's say if I've got 4 sets of 4 planned for a deadlift, which I should have listened to my body yesterday, I maybe shouldn't have done that 4th set. Maybe I should have just dropped it at 3 and allowed my body to recover a little bit more. As I said, like if you got, like, say, three lots of 800 meters, if you're not feeling right, you might have to drop that last 800 meter to allow you to listen to your body and allow that body to recover. And considering if you're not having much sleep for the day, you might want to do that anyway. And that's why, like, I work with RPE, so rate of perceived exertion. Yeah. So, I do, like, say, an 800 meter at 6 or 8, 7 intensity. And I'll do my sets, my strength sets at, 3 sets of 8 at 8. They don't generally give me the weight that I'm working with. It'll be like whatever you feel like you can do on that day. So the way I feel, the way you structure everything, just develop a base routine for yourself and go off of everything else after that. And most importantly, listen to your body, because your body's your best personal trainer.
Yeah.
So,
I definitely agree with that. I think, just not being a slave to the schedule.
Yeah.
And sometimes that might be a whole rest day, but sometimes that just mean instead of going out for a speed session that you had on your schedule, you just going for a cruise and take the dog out anyway. But yeah, I just wanted to make one final thing, and we'll wrap it up. A fairly quick one. We mentioned we want to talk about a bit more of the specifics about fly in, fly out training in a later episode.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll get into more of the nitty gritty about that another time. But yeah, I just wanted to say, just the weekends been a pretty important part of the routine for myself. Is like, I really like to save the Saturday mornings for a long ride or a long run. I live right near Fleet Cycles, so they have 4 groups go out on a Saturday morning. So last week I went out and rode with one of those groups. And otherwise, it's also a really good opportunity to get out for a long run, either solo or with somebody else. But yeah, the weekends for me is all about trying to get in a longer session on a Saturday morning. And yeah, like it's great to kind of get 2-3 hours in and then like feel like you've deserved kind of sitting around watching the footy later in the day. So did you have anything else you wanted to say, Wattsie, or we might just wrap it up at that point?
Yeah, I think we should just wrap it up. We're really enjoying this project. Again, guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for liking the show, rating the show, following the show, telling your mum as well. But yeah, we're getting more and more people on board. We've actually got a producer and editor now. So they're going to do some work around behind the scenes. So hopefully the goal of this podcast is to provide as much entertainment and informative information over someone's run while you're in the car, whatever. And so, yeah, we aim to provide a great product, and yeah, that's it.
All right, guys, we'll catch you in. Tune in next week. Catch you next time.
All right, thanks, guys.